and then getting actors and then filming it and all that stuff, it gets a little away from you every time. Not away, but it gets a little harder to get that feeling, you know, and I think that it's an awesome thing when you get it and you see it on screen, and maybe the first time you see it and you're like, that was it, that's it, I felt it, you know, it happened. And then when you talk to someone who's never seen it or had an experience with it at all, or had it, you know, had to go through this ladder of events to get it onto a screen in front of them, and they feel it, it's a really cool thing, because you're like, wow, okay, like it worked. You know, like the process worked. It didn't fail me, which, you know,
did.
I'm not saying that it doesn't, that it did every time, but it's pretty cool.
All right, who else?
Who else? Sylvia? Is that how I say your name?
Yes.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. Hi, everyone. First, Harry, you were amazing in The Witcher, and get all the big parts, please. And you kind of answered my question already. Did you have a plan for Supergirl in the DC Extended Universe when you made Man of Steel? There is a Man of Steel prequel comic featuring Kara. Was there ever a plan to continue that story later, introducing her in Superman solo like you did with Wonder Woman in Batman v Superman, and then give her a solo? Because the theme of family is so strong in the DCU that I think it would be nice to see that meeting between Henry, Superman, and her not end up alone, like he did.
Yeah, I mean, it's an awesome question, and by the way, you know, it's a super powerful character, and you know, and I would say like an amazingly iconic character, and we really wanted to keep, as we went forward, it was always, you know, my intention to broaden the universe and to continue to, like, you know, start to bring in more and more of the family, if you will. And I think that she certainly falls into that category. And certainly the idea of a standalone super cool movie is it's a cool idea. I don't have a script or anything in mind, but it'll be amazing to see for all of us, I think.
Thank you. I love you all.
That's cool. Let's see. Who else? You think?
How about the Kryptonian show, Jacob?
Did we talk to Jacob? Jacob.
Hi, Mr. Snyder and Mrs.
Hello, sir.
How are you?
Good.
Okay, and Dad, you know.
Chicago in the house.
Okay, and Dad, about that suit that came from the Kryptonian ship, how did Dad, who or whoever designed the suit, that Kryptonian suit, to be blue, and why did one of the family members of the L family chose to be blue, red, and yellow? I mean, what does the color represent?
Sure. I mean, I talked about it a little bit when we were watching the movie, but I think that, like, you know, there's a lot of ways to think about the suits. We had massive conversations when we were making the movie about, like, what the suits were. Were they, you know, because you can see that, like, what we try to do is the basic suit, like what this sort of, we call it the skin suit that Clark is wearing and that Jor-El is wearing and Zod is wearing. That's kind of that is the practical, like, everyday wear of a Kryptonian out in the world, right? Like, you see them, everything that they're doing, they have this sort of, this skin suit on underneath their, whether it be armor, whether it even be like they're in like those like mech suits that they're walking around that planet on. They always underneath, they have this kind of consistent, you know, that skin suit. And then I feel like we always talked about the cape being sort of a formalized version of that. So like in the dream sequence with Zod, you see he's wearing a cape in that sequence, right? But in the other sequences, he's not, right? So it's like there's like a formalized version of the skin suit that has a cape. And so my way of thinking about it is two ways. You can either think that the House of El, which is a long-standing house of noble stature on Krypton, that their ancestors were explorers, and it was literally part of that family that was exploring the universe, which I'm fine with. But also, I think you can think about it in terms of, because Jor-El's AI is in the ship, that he can these skin suits are controlled by the ship and manufactured or created in the creches, and so they would represent different guilds and different presentations. And I think that the red and blue, like I was saying, is a diplomatic presentation color for the Kryptonians, and would allow this notion of diplomacy. And sort of, if you listen to what Jor-El is saying during that sequence in his explanation of what you're going to mean to the people of Earth, you can imagine that would be, what he would hope for the outward image of Superman to the world would be. Does that make any sense?
Yes.
Henry, what was it like for you when you put on the suit after it was made for the first time? What was that moment like for you?
Difficult to forget, I'll say that much. It was a bit of I remember putting it on for the screen test, and I think, Zach, you sent me a picture of, it was the Polaroid, the literal Polaroid of someone, you taking a picture of me or someone taking a picture of me. And that moment when I stepped outside for the first time, and it all been so hush hush, everything had been kept under wraps, and everyone was walking around behind closed doors. And then I stepped outside and everyone kind of turned and looked, and you had that moment where I didn't feel ridiculous. It felt empowering. It was a remarkable experience. It was something which I will never forget, because if you told me as a kid that, one day someone's going to put you in a skin tight blue outfit and you're going to stand in front of a whole bunch of people and they're going to take pictures, I would probably dread that day. But because there happened to be an S shield on the chest, and there's something which lives in our psyche down to pop culture and what Superman represents, that carried an extra magic in that moment and made it something really, really special for me.
And what was interesting, because when we were doing the test, we didn't have time. We were still developing the suit. So we asked them, and we got Christopher Reeve's suit out of archives. And I remember it came and they had white gloves and they pulled it out, and we were like, oh my God. And that's what we used for the screen test until we were able to develop. And also, it takes months to get it, and it had to be, specific to Henry's proportions and
our suits for the movie.
Yeah, it was quite a process.
Well, it's funny too, because I tell that story too about you coming out in the Christopher Reeve suit, which by the way is not, let's be frank, that suit has the underwear on the outside. If I laid it on the table in front of you, it is not heroic looking. It is made out of polyester or something, and it's not even like ours. Like the modern suits have some shape, right? Yep. If it's laying on the ground, you're like, oh, the guy who wears that, looks like a big dude. But the Christopher Reeve suit is literally like, if you took off a stocking and you laid it on the table, it's kind of what it looks like. It's not, it's kind of this flimsy thing. But, and when Henry came out of the trailer in that suit, and all of our, we had a small crew to shoot the test shot, and those gruff dudes like turned around and looked at him. I was like, oh geez, what's it going to be?
It's going to get ugly.
They were like badass. And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Really?
Whew.
They were like, got a bad look there, Superman. That's badass, bro. And I was like, oh, that's cool. That's okay. That's good. Whew. You run the gauntlet on that one, but it was cool. Yeah, but and then by the way, he looked like exactly as Henry said. You look at that outfit, and you go like, oh, that's like I think it's in. We're all programmed to see Superman, just like even you guys with your S's on. You look like you look strong.
Yeah, it's a powerful image, Superman, and it stands for a lot more than just a blue suit.
Yeah. Does indeed. What do you think?
Zach, I've got a question for you, if I may.
Yeah, please.
Jor-El's AI consciousness construct, whatever you want to call it.
Yep.
How complete is that? How advanced is the Kryptonian technology in the sense that is that consciousness capable of love?
I don't think so. In my mind, it was like he kind of had to load what he believed to be what a grown-up version of himself would need. I think it's super complex, but I don't know that it is a complete person. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, and the reason why I say that is because I don't want. I think it undercuts a little bit of Jor-El's sacrifice if he
he's still like
snuck
still
his consciousness into a thumb drive and tucked it onto the ship and said like,
probably should have done that for my wife.
Laura.
Damn it.
Laura, I'm out of here. But I do believe I think about it like he like a diary that he wrote to his son, right? Like a love letter. Like a love letter to his son. Okay. So that when he got there to Earth or whatever and finally came full circle, that he would be able to it's like, you're in the attic of your house and you find this letter your father wrote you to my adult son, read when you're, 40. And you open it and you read it and you're like, oh my God. That's kind of how I imagine the Jor-El AI.
Okay. So it carries the message of love, but itself is not capable of love.
I think so.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
No sweat. I think that's cool. It's a great question, and it's a thing we grappled with because, it does, you want him to still be have given something up to get you out,
right?
Which I think is super important.
Yeah.
Because there is a theme of sacrifice throughout the movie, And,
yes,
and I think that theme is, it's like everyone Clark comes in contact with, the lesson that they give is that for a greater good, we go.
Right.
Hey, Zach, mind if I jump in for a second?
What do you got?
I just wanted to tell you and Debbie, a lot of people love you and care about you, and we thank you for all the work that you've done in your films. And Henry, you're great. We hope to see you again soon, hopefully. But we'll see.
That's cool.
Thank you.
That's amazing.
Thanks, Brent.
I like your. I see you got a Superman right over your shoulder there.
Yeah. Yes. Behind you.
I had to search for
look out!
multiple Walmarts. It's about 36 inches tall. So.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, he's like I was gonna say, either he's super far away and he's life size, or he's right there.
It's like universal things of every superhero should be.
Oh yeah, he is big.
Optimistic and you.
Oh wow, yeah.
I appreciate and I love you people. They are amazing people. I appreciate you guys are amazing human beings.
Thank you.
Where's Danny? Is Danny there?
Hi.
Hello.
Where are you? I think you're on
my
other screen. Hang on.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, there you are. You're like the most
literally
intense close-up.
Yeah. Yeah, I have problems with the audio.
Oh, where are you?
I come from Chile.
Oh, perfect.
Like south, far south.
Yeah, south of here. It's slightly south. If I get on the Harbor Freeway and keep going.
Yeah. So yeah. So I have a question.
Yeah.
that is the mother of all our questions as a fandom.
Oh, really?
Yes. That's serious.
Oh, geez.
Oh my god.
I'm scared.
I'm scared of it too.
Yeah,
Yes.
me too.
When will you release the Snyder Cut?
There it is. There it is.
There it is.
Is it us releasing this?
Yeah, when will I release it?
Don't cut the stream this time.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Suspense.
Look, you know, the truth is, you know, I'm not 100%, you know, me personally, I'm not really, and I've said it before, I'm not really in control of it necessarily, right? Like, I mean, I've said it exists, and I've been very clear with my, like, what I did with it, you know, and but that, you know, it's not really up to me per se. If it was up to me, I would have probably already like left it on a thumb drive in a bathroom somewhere. And
Yeah, because, you know, people like picking up thumb drives in bathrooms and putting it
well,
into
not anymore. Not anymore. In the
Typical
current
scenario.
there.
What else do you do with your Saturday night?
yeah, things not
Someone
to
would be
do
putting
101.
Pharrell all over
Yeah.
it.
Is there a true story there somewhere?
About the thumb drive in the bathroom?
Yeah.
Yeah, guys, whoever's listening, do not pick up any thumb drives you find in bathrooms.
Yeah,
That is
this is not.
Well,
not-
try it out. We're,
It's
you
not
know,
a
I'm not
situation.
suggesting this as you go forward. This is not. Yeah, everyone's like going, okay, go to the look. Let's go see what's in the
Yeah,
bathroom.
there's going to be a news story about that. Tons
Yeah.
of people go in the bathrooms.
Yeah, looking for thumb drives.
Looking for thumb
And
drives.
also, I promise you, I did not put that. Don't pick the one that's in there up, because that's not mine. So whatever's on that one is not something you want to see, probably.
Oh, dear.
But yeah, so like, look, I mean, I don't know. What do you think, Henry? It's a hard question.
I don't know. For me, having just watched Man of Steel, this for me was such a big moment, because I remember when that first trailer dropped, which I hadn't been privy to beforehand, and I just saw it with everyone else. And I remember exactly what I was going through in my life at the time. I remember where I was, remember who I watched it with, and then I watched it about 1,500 times after that. And that whole experience of shooting the movie was a life changer for me. The whole experience of the press tour, watching the movie, it was definitely a fulcrum point, which changed my life from what it was then to what people perceive now as, you know, being famous or whatever it is. And that was a massive shift for me. And I remember so much of it in very, very exacting detail, and with all of the emotions in touch. I mean, I was going through a lot at the time as well, sort of aside from the work stuff. But it was for me a massive journey, and I loved watching it. I still love watching that movie, and I will remember those days until the very end for me. It's been a long journey since. I do think it would be fun to perhaps have, you know, worked with a trilogy or a trilogy a bit differently. And I mean, I would love to see a version of Justice League without the mustache. And
would you be okay if you had, like, I don't know, like the
Innovative.
version of, you know, like from the Reign of Superman, where, you know, he rises up and has, you know, little long hair and also a full beard? Would you be okay?
Oh, so you're saying, like, you're asking for the mullet and the beard?
yeah,
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah,
mullet,
well,
but little-
listen, there's some hairstyles. There's some hairstyles that just don't age. Awesome. And I'm gonna put that mullet in the category. I mean, look, for me, one of the things we wanted to do with Justice League was when he came back, he was, you know, iconic in some way. Iconic to the risen Superman, maybe minus the beard and the mullet, but with other aspects of that look that I feel like are super important. But yeah, you know, it was always my intention to like not, you know, I'd love to see that version of Superman without the mustache, or at least without the whatever that implication of a mustache.
Yeah, without the mustache. It's an important thing.
Yeah, but I think seriously, like to see, I mean, we were on this journey, and all these characters, I mean, it was this hero's journey for all these characters, and I think it's a shame that we never saw it come to fruition the way, you know, the way Zach intended it to be, you know.
Yeah.
To see them reach their journey to become, you know, the Justice League, the team that it would have been.
Listen, and look, like I told you, I have it. So it's just a question of like, we got to find a way to show it someday.
Yes.
I reckon you should show it.
What's that?
I reckon you should show it.
What, you think I should just show it?
Yeah, I think we should.
I reckon it too.
I mean,
no disagreement here.
I think that, I mean, I don't have like, I can't show the movie right now, you know, because it's still a little bit to do. But I mean, there is this. I have this. I don't know if this is helpful. See that?
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my
Wow.
god! Oh my god! Oh my god!
Is this stereo?
Very nice.
Get the hell out of here! Oh my god!
Oh my god.
So that's coming.
There's a little thing there, you know.
It's a little thing. It's
a
not to
little
be
thing.
too, what do you call it? You know.
Don't get too hyped up about it.
Yeah.
Just, you know.
I mean, the good news is
Chill out.
there's one little piece of bad news, and that is that you know, it'll probably be in 21, the actual release, because we got a little work to do.
Forever
But
21.
Así es, gente, el 2021 se va a estrenar la verdadera Justice League.
Get ready.
¡Qué emoción, qué emoción!
We have prep
Nice
time.
job, Danny. Nice
Ready
job,
to
Danny.
get mentally prepared.
Well, all right. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you so
Thanks for
much.
having us, Zach.
Henry.
Thank you so much.
thanks everyone.
Thanks,
Thanks, Zach.
Henry.
Appreciate
Yeah.
it.
Love you, Henry. Digging a mustache, buddy.
All right.
I just woke up like this today. I don't know why. This is what.
Oh
happened.
yeah, me too. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
All right.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice job.
Flag.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Cheers,
guys.
guys.
Love you
Thank you very
guys.
much.
Wow.
Bye bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Take care.
Well, y'all have a good day.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Oh my god. I
Oh,
can't
boy.
believe it.
Unbelievable.
You see that picture?
I can't believe it.
I know. Who's that?
It's happening.
Oh my
Oh my god.
Whoa.
fucking we got in here. That is so
I'm in
fucking.
shock.
Yeah, this is fucking. They're